the number that are selling $100,000 a year in a gallery is probably less than 1 or 2% of the total artists and photographers that are out there trying to sell their art and photography. Let's make that picture a little bit rosier, and let's say $300,000. Okay, let's triple it in gross sales a year in a gallery. And with the aforementioned 50% haircut, 150, okay, you're making 100 grand a year. That's fantastic. That's less than 1%, probably less than 0.2% of artists and photographers out there. So in terms of like a viable path forward, the way that I like to explain making it in a gallery is to have that level of success that way as an artist or photographer is kind of like playing a sport versus being a professional athlete. How many people do you know play a sport? How many professional athletes do you know, right? Like the odds are just not fantastic. And the real death knell to the gallery model is you guys are all going to be artists and photographers for the rest of your life. I routinely get people on these calls in their 90s still trying to sell their art, which is amazing. And you realize it's the long game. Wherever you are, you have a ton of time left, right, to do this, God willing, of course. If you don't know who's purchasing your art and you can't market to them for the rest of your life, you don't have the ability to develop collectors. Collectors are folks that will come back and keep buying from you again and again and again, year after year after year. And it's the lifeblood of any art business. In the gallery model, you don't know because the gallery doesn't tell you who purchases. It's important to state that, important to understand that. All right, let's table the gallery model for a sec. Next is to become a road warrior. A road warrior is someone that does anywhere from 25 to 45 shows a year. The fairs, the shows, the farmers markets, the thises, the that's, and you are loading that car up, setting up the booth. Sometimes it's a dud, sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's inclement weather. You're away from your family, you're 8 hours a day on your feet. It is not easy, it's hard. That being said, totally viable path to get there. If I was an artist myself and I was like looking back at my life and I wanted to give my like 20-year-old self some advice, okay, Emma, talking to you, you're the young one here, it would be like, don't have wife, don't have a significant other, don't have kids, don't have a mortgage. And if you have any of those things, it's just a generalization. You're the young one and I'm looking at you. So go and do that when you're young. Because if you can do that when you're young, when you don't have the aforementioned significant other and kids and soccer games on Saturdays and a mortgage, that's when you're the freest to be able to do that. And it's totally a viable path. Like I've got multiple customers that are in their 50s and 60s that did it for years and years and years. One guy I think of, this guy, Bill Stidham, 175,000 miles on his van in 6 years that he just used for his art shows. I mean, he hit it hard. You know what that guy has now? Healthy 6-figure-a-year business, and he barely does any shows anymore because he built up the list, he built up a customer base, he built up collectors. The third way, okay, is what everybody really, truly has to do. It's what you want to do, which is, I know I'm not going to get into a gallery. I know I'm not doing the show and fair circuit. That's just too much. I can't be that road warrior. So I want to sell direct. I want to understand who's purchasing my work. And it's totally a viable path. It's what we advocate. Here's the rub, though. You have to market your own art. You have to market your own art. There is no one that is going to market it for you. And for some people, that is a painful thing to hear. For most artists and photographers, it's a painful thing to hear. But it's true. Anyone that's been in this business for any period of time knows that you guys are all sold a bill of goods that somehow an artist or a photographer's vocation is just to create this amazing thing and everything else just happens, and nothing could be further from the truth. You have to get good and understand that marketing yourself is just as important a job as creating what you create. And the sooner you come to terms with that, the way better your life becomes. Why? Because there's never been a better time in the history of the world to do it. Not even close. I mean, for those of us that are older and remember the days before these things existed and before social networks with hundreds of millions of people worldwide were on their phones all day long, do you know how hard it was? Do you know how much harder it was? You were geographically fixed on the planet somewhere, and that's where you started, and that's what you had. You had to grind way harder. Now, if you take your marketing vocation seriously, if you're like, I'm going to get good at this, if you realize that your art business is essentially 2 trains on 2 tracks. Train number 1, your art, your craft, your creations, your subject matter material, your brush, your lens, how good you get with all of that. That train has its own path, and it will go throughout the rest of your career. You want to get better at it. You want to make sure that train has no brakes. The other one is how good you get at marketing yourself, and you need to treat it seriously, and you need to turn it into an art form. And if you understand those 2 things, that is the path that artists and photographers get on, will become successful, will have a business that is growing year after year after year. And I really firmly do believe there's never been a better time in the history of the world to do that. But It's actually simple. Simple, not easy. Not easy in the fact that you guys have to get good at marketing. Not good that you have to take it seriously. Not good that you have to learn how to do this. And nobody likes doing it. I totally get that, okay? I mean, I run the marketing department here. Truth be told, I don't even like doing it, okay? Posting on socials on a regular basis, content marketing, right? Running sales, all the things that you have to do. But I don't know what the alternative is. I don't know what the alternative is. Because of all the tens of thousands of artists and photographers that have come through these Zoom sessions in the last 3 years, there are maybe one or two that were doing great in the gallery. And I saw specifically, like right when COVID hit and all those gallery people got closed up, those people were flooding into these Zooms going, what do I do? I've got nothing. My income's done, right? It was terrifying. The road warriors are the road warriors. And then there's nothing else. You know, there's nothing else. Like, I've had like 6 people tell me they make more $10,000 a year on Saatchi, Fine Art America, Redbubble. I've had a couple of people on Etsy that are doing like $20,000 or $30,000 a year, but I haven't heard anyone else. So when you realize those odds, and please don't take it cynically, like this is only going to happen for you if you sign up at Art Storefronts. I don't care where you sign up or what you do, but I do care that if you want to take this business seriously and you want to see it growing year after year, it's the 2 trains, 2 tracks, no brakes. 2 trains, 2 tracks, no brakes. Okay. Now that rant is over with, I call this thing a Q4 boot camp, and I love the marathon analogy, all right? I hate running. I will never sign up for a marathon in my life. But I know some people that have, and there's one thing that you notice about those people that sign up for the marathon. As soon as you fill out that form for that miserable activity, your whole life changes. Why? You know the pain is coming. You start eating a little bit better. You start training and taking your exercising more seriously. You start getting better sleep. If it's me, you work on that drinking habit that you have, right? All of these things in your life, you start taking more seriously. And my contention, having been in this business for close to 10 years now, and having seen what goes on in Q4 the last 3 months of the year, it's a marathon that you're signed up for whether you know it or not. And the training that you do between now and then, between the fourth quarter, the buying season, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the roll up to Christmas, all of those sales that are in the water, all throughout that. More art, more photography is sold in the fourth quarter than the other 3 quarters combined almost sometimes. Like our customers that do it well have a good year based on what that fourth quarter is. And so my contention is that you're signed up for that marathon whether you know it or not. And the question is, what are you going to start doing between now and then? What are you going to start doing between now and then to get ready? Because if it's wait until things start getting colder, kids are back at school, you're running around like a crazy person, next thing you know, it's Thanksgiving. Oh, I got to have a sale. And then you post something on Facebook and send an email to 6 people. Not going to be good. Not going to be good, right? So we need to start training now, right? We need to start getting our businesses in order now. And there's a number of different ways that you can approach that and that you can contemplate it. But step 1 in all of it is have it in the back of your head. It's coming. What you do between now and then is going to dictate the level of success that you have, and it is the most important time of the year to be selling. Without question, not even close. And you have to have your art up on the website. You have to start working on an email list. You have to start marketing regularly and consistently on the social media platforms. If you do that now, you're gonna wake up come October and you're gonna be like, oh, got a little momentum in my back. Things actually look pretty good here. People actually know who I am, and I have the ability to market and run some sales when Black Friday and Cyber Monday comes along. So very, very important to understand that happens every single solitary year. Every year it is absolutely fantastic in terms of sales, in terms of art and photography. So all very, very important. Pricing is another big one. And pricing is one of my favorite topics in this business period, right? And do you know what I love more than anything else? All the bullshit advice that's out there based on pricing. Here's the formula that you use for pricing. It's material cost times square inch times media times your time. Yeah, okay, great. Thanks for that. Magic, really. The only thing that matters is whether or not the art sells. There is no magical formula that's going to help you price your art if the art doesn't sell, which is why all of those formulas are nonsense. Pricing is quite simply this. And it's awesome and it's freeing. And once you do it and once you realize this lesson, and I have like a really in-depth article on this and I'm going to send it to all of you. You, creative types, need to have prices from 0 to 100. You need to have prices from 100 to 1,000. You need to have prices over 1,000. and you need to have one thing in the shop that is obscenely expensive. Okay? Now let me break that all down with some real numbers. The 0 to 100 is really, really easy, especially if you're reproducing your artwork in terms of prints. But you also have to have non-wall art as a part of your lineup. Okay? It can't just be wall art. And the reason is that not everybody is ready to buy wall art all the time. And so you're out there, you're doing your marketing, you're getting your art, your photography in front of people, and they're like, wow, I really like this person. I really like their creativity. Problem, I'm not in the market for art right now. I want to reward this person for their talent, but I'm not in the market for art right now. If only they had something that was non-wall art related. Oh, they don't. Tell you what, I'll make a mental note to come back here. I'm going to go watch some cat videos, and you know what the masks do there, right? They're not coming back. They're never coming back. So the importance of having the non-wall art is so critical. No one talks about this enough. A business, specifically your guys' businesses, can be judged how well they are growing on one metric and one metric alone: the number of new customers you are acquiring per year. The number of new customers you are acquiring per year. Why? Why? Because the easiest customer to get is the one that you already have. It is significantly easier to get somebody to come back and purchase a second time than it is to go out and find a new person and have them purchase for the first time. And this is just a fundamental rule of most businesses, but specifically this business. And I alluded earlier to how important it is to not sell in galleries so that you know who is purchasing your work. There is a phenomenon in here. I stole it from this guy, so I always give him credit. Hold on, I'm going to grab his book. I stole this from Weiland, okay? Weiland is the whale guy. Most would say the best-selling artist in the United States. By the way, this book, fire, okay? Insane, amazing. You need to go buy it. Honestly, I should be on commission for this. In fact, he's got a gallery close to where I live. I'm going to go in there and get it. Short, sweet, no fluff. I'm sorry, here it is. But the rub is it's not on Amazon. I think he donates 100% of the proceeds to charity, so you have to buy it from his website. But honestly, Google this book and buy this book. Weiland defines a collector as someone that will purchase in upwards of 7+ pieces of art from him over the course of a lifetime. And this is a phenomenon I see played out continually with my own customer base. But when you have collectors, it's a phenomenon of this business, right? Like there's certain product categories that have collectors, right? If you ask my 7-year-old kid, it's those damn Pokemon cards. They're all over my floor right now. You guys would laugh if you saw these. But shoes, cars, wristwatches, art is one of them. And it's a fantastic thing because you will keep creating throughout the course of your life. And these collectors will just go along for the ride. You keep raising prices, they keep coming and buying and buying and buying. Oh, that's awesome. Emma just said that book is on Spotify for free. I did not know that. Definitely listen to it. You want to highlight it, though. I'm not kidding. Great book. Where was I going with all that? So if we know the most important thing an art business can have as a collector, and then we know in order for a collector to become a collector, they first have to purchase something, that underscores how important it is to have non-wall art as a part of the lineup, okay? That's the 0 to 100 range. Also in there, you obviously have small prints. And then let's say you're 100 to 1,000, you get into some bigger size prints, right? Your metals, your canvas, your acrylic, you go through that 0 to 1,000 range, and maybe close to the 1,000 range, you're in limited editions, and then above that, you have your originals. Everyone has to adjust it a little bit to taste. But you also need something obscenely expensive in the store. And let's say that you sell your originals, just to keep the math simple, at like $1,000. I want one in there for 10 grand. And why? Why one in there for 10 grand? That's crazy. I'm never going to sell that thing. I don't even care if you don't ever sell that thing. You ever been to a car dealership? And you know in the car dealership, that the big glass box in the middle, I know the car dealership is a miserable feeling in most people's heads because you have to deal with the salespeople. But anyway, the big glass box in the middle, right? Let's say we're at the Toyota dealership. In that big glass box in the middle is the Toyota Supra carbon fiber TRD whatever. It's $275,000, right? There's a reason that they put those cars inside the glass box, and it's because human beings are wired to make purchase decisions based on comparison. We anchor onto certain things to compare to other certain things. And so when we go and look at that $250,000 Supra or the $150,000 Land Cruiser that's inside the glass box, we anchor onto that price point, and it makes us feel just that much better about buying the $60,000 Highlander, right? That's on the outside. And that's a phenomenon called price anchoring. And it's just one of these psychological things that's really, really, really important to do. You feel better knowing that I didn't buy the most expensive thing, it makes you feel a little bit better. That's why you put that high-priced item in there. Also, everyone's followers, yours, mine, any business, that all fall into a thing that I call the socioeconomic bell curve, okay? It's your typical bell curve, exactly what you'd expect. And down at the low end of it, you have the low socioeconomic status. Those people can't afford anything. They'll like, comment, share on your post. They're still good people. Then you have lower income folks, middle class, upper middle class, high net worth individuals, the bell curve, right? You know, what does everyone always say to me all the time? Yeah, I just want to target high net worth buyers. Yeah, good. That's great. You and every other business on the planet, aside from the 99-cent store, wants to target the high net worth buyers, okay? That is why it's insanely difficult to do that. But the point is, you need to have this range of pricing that I'm discussing to be able to cover all of the spots on that bell curve. Because what happens when you do that is you acquire the highest number of customers possible. And the beautiful thing about acquiring the highest number of customers possible is you can market to these folks in the future. The bell curve is not a fixed entity. Your buyers and potential buyers are going up and down that bell curve their entire lives. The one that's living in their mother's basement right now is buying their new house 2 years from now. And you got that sale. Do you want to know why you got that sale? Because you sold them a mug or a mouse pad or a calendar or a whatever, and it sat on their fridge. It could be a sticker, okay, that's on my garage fridge with all the rest of the stickers. And every time I go out to get a beer, which is an enjoyable experience for me, I look at your art, okay? Now I've moved out of my mother's basement, and I'm going to go buy a house, and you got that sale. And that's how it works. And I get a lot of pushback on the merch, okay? I'm a fine artist, Patrick. I would never sell that merch, that cheap tchotchke crap. I'm not doing that. To which I respond, let me know the last time any of you went to a museum that didn't have a gift shop. I'll wait, okay? If Van Gogh's Starry Night is on the wall, and you can also buy a Starry Night poster in the gift shop for $22 plus tax, I'm pretty sure Van Gogh's not losing any sleep over it. Technically, he's really asleep. He's dead. But you get the point, okay? You get the point. You ever been to a concert that hasn't had merch? I don't think so, okay? The Rolling Stones, take your pick, okay? Merch is very, very important in the simple lens that you acquire more customers as a result of it. So having that price range is huge. What is one of the most defeating things that happens to artists and photographers out there? You worked hours on a piece. I mean, hours. It took so much time. You're going to sell this thing for $800, and what happens? Someone's like, yeah, that's beautiful. Would you take $25 for it? Oh, you're just deflated, right? Like this person is just, I mean, it's like a troll on social media. I mean, they have just ruined your entire day. The beautiful thing is, when you have the range of pricing, it doesn't happen as much. It almost doesn't happen at all. Because people understand, they have a context of where things are in your lineup. Oh, this is $100 and under. Oh, this is $100 to $1,000. Oh, this is over $1,000. Oh, that's the $5,000 piece. And what's more, when you get those folks who don't know any better, okay, most of them are not bad people. They just don't know any better. You can be like, oh, that's fantastic. I love that you have the interest. That one costs quite a bit more, but let me show you what is in your range. And then we gently guide them to where we are in our range. Do you know how much better that is for your self-esteem? Okay, let me tell you, significantly better. It is significantly better for your self-esteem. You are going to be a happier and better functioning member of society, okay? Your significant other is like, this is awesome. Why are you in such a good mood? It's because you have the range of pricing. Very, very important. That's pricing. I'm going to send you a follow-up article on it after this whole thing's over. In addition to the pricing, the next thing I want to talk about is Instagram. Most important social network for artists and photographers. It's not even close. Secondarily, it's Facebook. Okay, have to be working on both of them. Well, Patrick, what about TikTok, or what about Pinterest, or what about SEO? Yeah, what about shiny objects that are not going to move your business anywhere and are going to put you on the road to a hobby? All right, that's what all the rest are. I don't care what anyone else says, anyone's friends, anyone. No one is selling art on any of the rest of those things, okay? They are lying to you if they're saying they are. It's nonsense. I've looked at way too much data. Aside from onesies, twosies here with weird circumstances, the two most important places that you need to be are Instagram and secondarily Facebook. And thank God for that. Okay, don't talk to me about TikTok. I'll kick you right out of this Zoom. You are lying to yourself, okay? Stupid Chinese app, communist app that is just trying to flood you with an endorphin hit. You got 10,000 views. You didn't get 10,000 views. You got 100 views from people that are never going to buy your work, okay? So when we stay focused on the only two platforms that matter to the detriment of wasting time on any of the rest of those ones. I don't care. I don't care. Just stay out of there. Stay in my lane. Facebook and Instagram, Instagram and Facebook. You will end up winning. And why is Instagram the most important? What do you guys create? You create visual creations. What is Instagram? A giant visual search engine. Imagine that. Lines up pretty nicely, right? The beautiful thing is that Instagram has become, over the years, evolved into the credit check for artists and photographers. What do I mean by that? I'm going to buy something. I saw something. My neighbor had something. It's really important for me to keep up with the Jones. I'm going to go look at what he got, and what am I doing? I'm going instantaneously to Amazon. I'm going to read the reviews. Was that thing good? Is there a better one? Maybe there's a better one. Maybe I can one-up this guy because I got to keep up with the Jones. No, we check Amazon is a way of getting credit checks, like getting the reviews of what something is, right? So you could say Consumer Reports or some of the other sites too. For artists and photographers, it's like, hey, I just saw this. I'm at your friend's house. You sold some art to your friend. I saw that. That's a great piece. Who did that? Oh, yeah, it's my buddy. It's my cousin, Mark McClanahan over there. And you should check him out. You know what they're going to do? They're going to pull out Instagram, and they're going to look for you, and they're going to look at your profile, and are they going to say, is this an artist that's doing anything? Is this an artist that's putting out content regularly? Are they on the up and up? Do they have 2 followers or 2,000 followers, right? And it's very, very important to understand, one, that Instagram offers a credit check, okay? So fundamentally, it's important just for that matter. 2, secondarily, and I should also say, like, you know, the data in this industry is so utterly, totally, completely opaque, right? Like, there's so much nonsense out there, it's mind-boggling. But there's 2 outfits that report on the super high end of the art market. One's the Hiscox Group, it's an insurance entity out of London, and the other is Art Basel teams up with UBS Payne Weber, I think. I think that's who it is. The 2 of them put out a report, and what they do is they survey every year all of the folks that are essentially buying $100,000 pieces and up. And every single solitary year, I've watched the results of those reports when it comes out, and every year it ticks up. Did you follow and or consume content from an artist on Instagram? Was Instagram influential in your buying decision? And in both cases, both of their surveys, like, those percentages are really pretty high. So it's significant in its ability to help you guys sell art. The top-end, high-end buyers are all there, okay? So that makes it very important as well. The beautiful thing about Instagram is you can reach a ton of buyers. The terrible thing about Instagram is you have to post frequently on it for years to really make a huge dent. So, yeah, 1, you got to get started. 2, you have to understand you're going to suffer in the short term because it's not easy, and you have to learn how to do it, and you have to learn how to enjoy it and get good at it. And we can talk about that in depth. I have a ton of teaching on Instagram. But the beautiful thing that exists currently on Instagram, and I love this. Okay, we're going to have to do a little social media history lesson. But Facebook emerged. Facebook pretty much became a monopoly. Okay, power was unchecked. Then a new rising competitor came along, and Facebook is like, uh-oh, we can't have any competition. It was Instagram. We're going to go buy those folks. So they bought them. Okay, great. Now Facebook's even more powerful. It's Facebook and Instagram. I'm streaming on their platform when I'm saying this, so I get banned. You guys will know why. Zuckerberg kicks my door, and you'll know why. So now they own these 2 platforms. So the playbook was, we are a monopoly. If any competitors come along, we're just going to buy them. Okay. Snapchat emerges. Snapchat starts taking all of these young kids away from Facebook and Instagram. They're like, all right, what does the playbook say to do in this situation? Let me see the playbook. Mark, it says if we have a competitor, go and buy them. All right, somebody go and buy Snapchat. So they go and try and buy Snapchat. Snapchat says pound sand. Mark's like, okay, what does the playbook say now? We don't know. He goes, all right, we're just going to copy them verbatim. And so Snapchat had these things called stories that disappeared after 24 hours, and Facebook copied them verbatim. So, okay, now Snapchat peters out. I mean, who's using that? I don't know. Some kids, whatever. It's whatever. I don't want to talk about it. The next one came along. This time it was TikTok. And Mark Zuckerberg went right back to the playbook. He's like, okay, this is awesome. TikTok is starting to steal a bunch of our users. It's competition. What should I do? Let's go try and buy them. He goes and tries and buy them again. They tell him no. He said, my wife is Chinese. Let me buy you. They still said no. So the next thing they do is they're like, okay, what is the playbook saying next? Copy them verbatim. And so that's what they did. And by the way, the other social players were watching, and now YouTube watched, and they're like, okay, Let's copy them verbatim. So what did TikTok have? These short form little videos that were 120 seconds or less and were very compelling cell phone style video size. They copied that feature verbatim and called it Instagram Reels. YouTube saw that, copied that feature verbatim, called it YouTube Shorts. I could cycle through the 3 views of those 3 different products, and you could almost not tell the difference. They even put the buttons in the same place as copycats. Anyway, why it was a brilliant thing, TikTok coming along, is it destroyed what has been up to that point in time the social contract. What is a social contract? What do I mean by that? Hey, art store friends, work really hard on my platforms, Facebook and Instagram, and post a bunch of content. When you do, people will follow you and become fans. After you earn those followers and those fans, some small portion of what you create will be shown to those followers and fans for free. Early on in the days, it was like 90%. Recently, it's like 2 to 5%. Tiny, almost nothing, right? So that is what the social contract was. TikTok, God bless them, despite the fact that I don't like the platform and think it's evil, has been still siphoning off users from Instagram at an alarming rate. It's all the younger kids and the people that are chasing likes that are not real and chasing views that are not real. It's a worthless platform. Anyway, so what they've done is they've torn up the social contract. So now where we are is we're in a scenario where you can get onto Instagram and you can have 2 followers, your significant other and your mother, okay? She likes and comments on everything. God bless you. Thank you, Mom. You can create content in the form of an Instagram reel. And an Instagram reel can potentially, if it's good, be seen by hundreds, by thousands, by even millions. In which case, you organically marketing without leaving your house, showing off your creations, understanding the platform, can get free reach. It used to be you didn't get that. And it used to be you had to pay a ton of money in terms of Facebook and Instagram ads to get that attention. Now you can do that without leaving your house. And that's an incredible, incredible thing. So it represents a huge, huge opportunity. And so that's where we stand right now as it sits in 2023. I believe Instagram is the most amazing platform that exists that can bring you guys buyers, bring you guys fans, bring you guys email addresses, and yes, sell your art of photography, but you have to get good at marketing it. You have to understand how to post. You have to work on your posting frequency, and you have to learn to love it. You have to. Which does get easier when you start getting wins along the way because it fills up. Oh, sorry about that. I was muted. Learning to love it does get easier. It gets easier with time when you start banking wins, okay? And Dawn, I emailed you. This is not the demo session, by the way. It's Thursday. I think you somehow got the wires crossed. Anyway, I emailed you about that. Where was I going to go with all of that? Yeah, anyone that watches that video can immediately tell some things. 1, how we like to look at things. 2, that we're a little opinionated, right? We're like a little opinionated, and it's funny because I have a podcast. I listen to podcasts on Spotify, and Spotify recommended this other art marketing podcast, and I didn't know it existed. It was just through Spotify, so I thought, oh, that was really cool, and I started listening to it. And it's a guy that it's called like the Art Marketing Minute or something like that, and it's a guy that owns like Plein Air magazine or something, and he totally knows what he's talking about. Totally educated. Really was enjoying, he does like a question and answer format, and I was listening to it. But then he was also talking about how, he doesn't really sell his art direct. He's in 3 galleries, and that's just how he likes to do it and everything else. And I thought about that, and I was like, man, that's just such an old school way to look at it. I don't understand how you can build a long-term, sustainable, thriving business if you don't know who's purchasing your artwork. I just don't know how you do it. I don't know how you build collectors that come back again and again and again, like Wyland cites in the book. And if you don't know, it's like you are the artist or you're the photographer, and you're building a business that you own, except you're a salaried employee in your own business. You don't have any equity, which drives me nuts. But anyway, into Q&A. How does it work? If you're one of the brave ones that has your camera on, you can do the old school hand raise. I'll see that. I can unmute you, bring you on. For everyone else, at the bottom of the Zoom window, there's this little smiley face thing, and it says reactions. And you can click that and raise your hand digitally speaking, like Michelle here has done. Ooh, before I forget, I gotta do my announcement thing. Okay, so I gotta do the announcement thing. I'll do a screen share so I can show what this all looks like. And this thing's tomorrow. So it's tomorrow at the exact same time that you came to this one. So it'll start at whatever the time zone is for you, a little bit ahead ahead of time. And we do a ton of marketing on social media, right? And we get comments all the time. And just like you, we get some weird comments sometimes. And one of my all-time favorite comments that I get on a regular basis is like, yeah, so we're the artists that you've made super successful at art storefronts, right? And it's some variation of that. And I look at those and I get infuriated because it's like, look, no business makes successful artists and photographers, okay? You help move them along a little bit faster, but the premise underlying that question is somehow you don't have to do anything and poof, there's a service that makes you huge. Complete nonsense. But what I like about those questions is there's like a little bit of a kernel of truth in them, in the sense that this is a damn lonely road. Making it as an artist or a photographer, it's helpful to get some stories from people that are in the top 1% of art and photography sales in the United States and the world. And we luckily have some of these people that call art storefronts home. And so I've started in on this new series where I've been grabbing some of our most successful customers. And sort of the format is I interview them for an hour. After the hour interview, we open it up to Q&A, just like what we're going to do here today. And everybody's invited. I'm doing one tomorrow. The first one, anyway, I did with Jonah. This kid signed up when he was 24. He's 29 now. He's doing roughly about $100,000 a month of his art. He's got his own gallery now in Florida. Super talented photographer, super interesting dude. And you can watch this after the fact. I'm going to email all of you guys this after the fact. So the first one was with Jonah, super interesting photographer. The next one was with a good friend of mine, Meg, and she has a really interesting story. Midwestern painter. Nailed a licensing deal really, really early on, which catapulted her career. We talk about it in the interview, and she's done a bunch of really impressive licensing deals since. And God has a really cool story. This thing she did with Jason Sudeikis and whatever this show is. Why do I keep blanking on the show? It'll come to me in a second. Anyway, the soccer show. It's a great show. I don't know why I'm blanking on the name. But anyway, that one was really cool. And so the one that I have coming up next, do I have her pulled up? Let me see if I do. Is this her? No, not. Anyway, it's with another customer. I'm not going to pull it up, but I'm just going to send you guys the invite. It's with this other customer. Her name is Betty Krause, and she has a really interesting story. Abstract painter, started in her 50s after her divorce. She is now, I think, she signed up with us in 17, and from every year from 2020 on, she's done a little bit over 6 figures a year. So she's got a great story, very interesting story. So I will send you, I will get the link and throw it in the chat, and I'll also email it to you. I got to remember to do that. But you guys can all join tomorrow, listen to the thing. I'm going to interview for an hour, and then everybody can ask her questions directly. So that's it. Enough of me blathering. Michelle, you're up first. Go ahead. Yeah, it's Betty Franks. Jane, yes.
Hey, Patrick, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. I got a couple emails from you guys.
A couple, or like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds?
Yeah. And actually, Brandel sent me a list of people who have websites with you guys, and I was looking over some of them, and emailed a couple of people, and they all said that they've had just only great stories to tell, and they would do it again. And one of the guys I was looking at, like almost everything on his website was sold, and I was what?
Yeah. Amazing.
But my main question is, like, I still don't understand how traffic gets like driven to like Instagram. Like I've never seen anything from art storefronts on Instagram. So like I don't get how where this traffic comes from.
Yeah, well, you realize it's not like a marketplace or something. It's not like an online bazaar with all of our artists that are in there. They're all their individual sites. They own the sites. It's their right. So they're responsible for driving the traffic, but that's essentially what we teach all year long, like insanely robustly and thoroughly. We are part website technology company, and all those bells, all those whistles, great. But really, what we are is a postgraduate university that teaches art and business, photography, marketing, and business all year long. That's what we do, all year long. By which I mean, we have sessions like this on Zoom. 9 of them a week, every single solitary week, 52 weeks a year, maybe 50 weeks a year. I think we take a couple weeks off. And we teach you how to do all of it, how to capture emails, how to capture emails in the digital world, how to do it in the real world, right? How to market on Instagram, how to market on Facebook, how to email market, how to run a sale, how to leverage print giveaways to build email lists. We a million different things, and we teach you that all year long. So that is the biggest difference, at a macro with us versus with everyone else. I think you muted again, so I don't know if you can answer a follow-up. Got it? You're good? Okay. That was very, very easy. I see the questions in the chat, and Don, and you guys, I will answer those ones. I always prioritize the hands first. All right, just going to go Jason, and then we'll go Keith. Go ahead, Jason. You'll need to unmute Jason, mic icon, bottom left. When it's on the phone, sometimes it's going to be a little confusing. You have to like kind of tap around down there. But there's a microphone looking thing, and usually you just have to tap it or click it. Yep, you got it.
There we go.
Yep.
There we go. It was being stubborn. I'm sorry about that.
Did you read that Weiland book? How good is that book, by the way? No fluff, just hard hitting, just
really
boom.
good. Yeah, I met him a couple years ago at his gallery in Key West, and I went down there. See, the whole point, the reason why I decided to become an artist was because at 15 years old, he was the first gallery I ever walked into in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, wow.
And I walked through his gallery, and I was actually at 12. And I walked through his gallery, and I was like, this is what I want to do. This. So ever since then, I've spent my whole life just trying to get there. And he helped out a lot. I became friends with him and even painted a portrait of him and his dogs, and he loved it. So but yes, I agree. Everything in his book standed out to me, and everything that you just said, specifically what he's been helping me with too is licensing.
Yeah. And
I've got some smaller deals with licensing, but I'm trying to grab a hold of some of those bigger corporate deals, and that's where I'm kind of at. And
yeah, as soon as this is over, I want you to listen to the that episode that I was just referencing with Meg, because she has some very interesting techniques and tactics in there that can kind of teach you how to do it, right? And it's so interesting, and you know, this is one of those lines where, I'm on the verge of getting canceled. Okay, when I say this, all right. So let me preface it by saying I don't care. This is what I see and this is what I feel. All right. The biggest thing that paralyzes artists from ever doing anything are all the damn what ifs and all of the nonsense that gets in the way. The smart artists and the smart photographers operate under it's easier to beg forgiveness than ask permission mantra. Okay, and they go and create the thing. And it's questionable, the legality of creating the thing, and they go and sell it. And what inevitably happens is nothing. 9 out of 10 times that's what happens, is nothing. In some cases, you get a cease and desist letter, okay? And the cease and desist letter says, take that down, and boom, you're done. But I have seen more instances of the other, in which case the copyright holder, whoever it was, whatever the situation may be, finds out about it, goes, this is awesome, and either says, keep going, or they make a deal with them. And it goes even deeper than that, okay? It goes even deeper than that. The hardest thing to do is get the relationship such that you could get a licensing agreement, okay? You have to be creative. You have to get around the gatekeepers. You have to get on the phone with someone. They are avoiding your calls. And so doing it and making enough noise to get their attention is actually the best way to get them on the phone. Now, that is a takeaway. That is a crazy takeaway. And I'm not trying to establish any morality or I am a copyright attorney or a lawyer, but like we have 11,000 customers on the platform. And I just thought of another great story, but hold on. We have 11,000 plus customers on the platform. And I think coming up on 10 years now, I think we've gotten like 2 or 3 takedown notices where, you know, some lawyer will contact us directly and say like, hey, go take that down. And I look at that and then I contrast that with everyone thinking that they're a lawyer and that they work at the copyright office and that they know everything and that artists are constantly getting ripped off and that you can't do that. And how did she get that copyright approval? And they don't do anything. They don't ever do anything or take a positive step. And I'm infuriated by that. I think that you let that nonsense get in your way and you will never get anywhere. So anyway, obviously a very passionate topic of mine. One short story, don't finish it off. Great customer, good dude, talented photographer, Midwestern guy doing long exposure, cool nighttime edgy stuff in the Great Lakes, Minneapolis, Minnesota area. Turns out he also has a passion for a certain amusement park themed around a mouse. Okay. And so he goes into this amusement park and he's shooting photos. Okay. Beautiful. The same kind of photos he would take in the Great Lakes, except he's in the park. And then he's going to sell those. And now he's having an insane level of success. And do you know what he found out? There is actually a group of photographers that all are in a group, that all talk about this, that all do this. And oh, by the way, there's a mouse representative in the group that says, guys, thanks for the free marketing. We'll let you know if we need anything, right? So it's like all of those situations constantly pop up, and it's like just take some forward steps and some forward action, and do not sit on the sideline. Anyway, but end rant. I don't know if that answered your question or where were you going with that.
Yeah, no, really it does. And I'm looking forward to hearing from the lady that you spoke of that's going to be on, what, I think tomorrow you said? Or
Tomorrow,
something?
yeah. That's Betty, and she's incredible. All of these stories are incredible. You know, it's like I've been doing this for like a long time, and you're constantly teaching, right? And you're constantly going about it your way of doing it. And it's so much more valuable. It's not more valuable. It's so different and refreshing to hear it from someone that's like really, really good at it, right? Like, you know, Jonah, for instance, one of the most talented kids ever in terms of like how he's positioned the art. Like, I learned from him. Like, one of his jams is once a year, he has a make me an offer sale. He literally emails his entire list that's been interested in his pieces, and he's like, guys, I only do this once a year. Make me an offer. And do you know why he does it? Just to start conversations. That's it. And it's extremely effective. And a bunch of his collectors and people email him, and they're like, hey, I'm really, really interested in this. And at the end of the day, all it is, that little discount, that little way of running a sale is getting deals over the line. And as a final, do you know whose website, if you go to today, the entire thing is on sale? Weiland. Do you know how much it's rumored he's doing in the art world? $40 million a year, right? Which is why that book is so important, which is why I get infuriated when I'm a fine artist. I would never discount my work. I don't like what that says about me, right? And you know, it really infuriates me. Anyway, that's what I got.
And it's funny you talk about Disney, because another very famous, very well-to-do underwater sea life artist that capitalized on that was Christian Lassen.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Lassen did a lot of stuff with Disney too as well. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, the licensing deals, that the two biggest challenges I'm having right now is licensing, trying to get the big ones, and then of course what you talked about a minute ago with finding the buyers that will actually spend, you know, tens and twenties and $30,000 on paintings.
Yeah.
I do get the idea of the merchandise, which I've been doing, because that gets you through your seasons. That gets you the little bit of
It's
money
just
you need
it's
to
just
survive.
acquiring new customers. Like, I can judge the revenue
Right.
potential of an art or photography business based on the number of new customers it acquires. Because a rule of business, the easiest customer to get is the one that you already have. It is far easier to get an existing customer to come back and purchase again than it is to go out and find a new one from scratch. It's just facts. So it's a numbers game, right? That's it.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I'd love to talk to you, but I'm going to get off and let everybody else talk to as well. But thank you so much for answering that. And I'm looking forward to chatting more with you guys. I really am. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. All right, Keith, you are up. And don't worry, I see all the questions in the chat. You guys all get to them.
Hey, bud.
Hey.
I'm getting ready to take the leap and join up with you guys.
Nice.
And now I'm down to some of the last of my money.
Mhm.
So it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
And I guess the second part, or something I wanted to ask, was, so, you know, it's good to hear about your successful artist.
Mhm.
What percentage of people that sign up end up dropping out? Because like all your friends and all your family's going to tell you you're a great artist,
Yeah.
but the rubber doesn't hit the road until
Great question. Yeah. So it's a really hard question to answer because you have to take it out of the art world and into the software world, and it's not really a fair comparison. And let me give you a for instance. Okay. There's a stat from Shopify that states, and I want to get it exactly right. And Shopify, you guys, is like it's the biggest company in terms of market cap in, I believe, Canada, the entire country of Canada. That's like how successful it is. But they do e-commerce software for like literally everybody, right? And they have to publish their numbers because they are public. And the average length of time that a store lasted in 2021 was 5 months. 5 months, and then it canceled. And it's not a knock on Shopify. It's that you guys don't have a website problem. You all have a marketing problem. And if you don't work on solving that, the website is utterly, totally, and completely worthless. It just is. So in terms of our retention, it's essentially what they call LTV, lifetime value of a customer. How long? I believe we're like 3.5 times that. But I don't feel like that's a fair answer, because artists and photographers have a dream that will not go away, they will stick at it longer than just about anyone, right? And then also, it's sort of an 80-20 scenario in the sense that 80% of our customers have full-time jobs. 20% of them are full-time artists. So when you have the full-time job, you're never able to pour in the time and energy and effort that you could if you were at it full-time. So that skews our numbers too. So it's hard to answer that question and feel like I'm giving you something with integrity that's going to help you. Here's what I would say. I believe firmly that we are the best solution that exists on the planet to give you the greatest tools to be able to succeed as an artist or a photographer. But I would be terrified if you signed up and there was a giant hourglass with sand over your head that said you had to make it in 9 months or you're going to be broke. Okay? That scares me. I would say, Keith, don't sign up. Go get a damn day job. Okay? And then you won't have this thing hanging over your head, right? But at the same time, Elon Musk tells his entire team, you have 5 months to get this damn rocket off the pad, and somehow the thing launches off the pad. So who am I to give the advice? But I don't like going into it thinking you can benchmark yourself off of others, because the individual equations are so insanely multivariate. Who you are, where you live, what size your social following is, what's your niche, how long have you been at it, how good are you, do you have other revenue sources? It's like, it's such a mixed bag that there's like no one playbook that works for everyone. And, you know, stated another way, I have customers. Jonah's a perfect example. Jonah has like 9,000 followers on Instagram. I've got customers with over 1 million followers on Instagram, and Jonah outsells those folks 100x to 1. How is that fair? Like, where's the mass in that, right? And the point of it is that just the equation is so multivariate that there's just nothing you can nail it down to, right? So you're gonna work hard. You're gonna grind like crazy. We have everything that you could do to work yourself to death, which is what it takes to figure it out whether or not what you have is going to work it and is going to make it, and you're going to be held accountable. And there's going to be a combination of education and community and support and mild harassment, usually from me, sometimes bribery, everything that we can throw at the wall to keep you moving forward and doing your marketing. But that's the best that I can give you. I can't give you a guarantee. No one can. And if anyone does, it's snake oil, turn around, run the other direction. Yeah. I just don't want the hourglass over your head. It's like life has enough stress as is for that going on. Don was asking, should I copyright my photos? No. Do not spend even 2 seconds copywriting your photos. Biggest waste of time in the history of mankind. You guys have one problem. Selling the work. Everything else is easy. Like, to establish that you own the copyright on a photo is pretty easy to do. Like, it came out of your camera, you have the metadata on it. If you had to go after somebody, you could do it. But they know when they've stolen it, and it happens so infrequently that all of these people love focusing on all the nonsense except the only thing that matters, right? Like, I was listening to that guy's podcast again. You know, his format's really cool. He has, and I want you guys all to subscribe to my podcast, by the way. Shameless plug, but it's really good. It's called the Art Marketing Podcast. Over 500,000 downloads everywhere you can find podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of them. It's good. I'm not kidding. I want you to subscribe to it. Anyway, this other guy who I was listening to, he somebody was asking a question of him, you know, because it's like a call-in format, like, hey, so-and-so from Rhode Island has such and such question. The guy's like, this is the question, I really want to make my presentation to collectors special. So I was thinking about doing this, this, and this. And he answered it, right, to the best of his ability, or how he would do it. And then I wanted to answer it, dude, stop worrying about how you are going to present things to your damn collectors. You don't have any, okay? And you need to get your butt out there and start working on getting them to even show up. If you could just get them on the phone, you've done it. You don't need to worry about anything else. They're not going to care about that nonsense, right? Anyway, I get fired up about these things. Ashley, you're up.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I've been kind of following along in the back for a while, listening and learning and trying to get to the point where I'm ready to flip the switch, I guess, with you guys.
Well, that makes me really happy that the content was valuable and that worked for you. So thank you. That's flattering.
Yeah. So I'm disabled, and so the reason why it's taken so long is I've been waiting for a settlement with a long-term disability company, and it's finally coming through. So I think we're talking about a month until I actually have the amount of money to get started with you guys. But this would be kind of a new revenue stream for me, I guess. I guess primarily so far where I get my art money is I'm a freelance graphic artist that I create line art tracers that other artists use as a starting point for their masterpieces.
Got it.
Okay.
Cool.
So a lot of what I've done money wise is that, but I do have fine art that I would like to get out there and grow more. And so I feel like this would definitely be a platform to help with that. My question is, I also have something called Pixelily Download Garden, where I have a monthly membership that I'm starting and I'm trying to grow more, but these people have access to all of my downloadable content. So I have like coloring book files and I have different PNGs that I create because I'm always creating these line arts. I might as well try to do something with them, right? Does the Art Storefronts platform have something that I would be able to continue with that membership feature?
Of course.
If I make
sense. Yeah, of course. So, one of the things that I've learned before is that, or I've come to learn is that, like, the sheer amount of revenue sources and variation that there is amongst all my customers is crazy. And I have never met a revenue source, as long as it was legal, that I don't like. I love them all. I want them all under one roof and go, right? And so I've got customers selling classes, and I've got customers selling music, and some of them are selling jewelry, and some of them take people into national parks and do photo tours, and some people do Zoom classes, and some people sell courses. And it's like, my answer is yes to all of the above, okay? Our goal is to empower you to take your God-given creative talents and allow it to feed your family. And I quite frankly don't care what it is. And I've had to have some difficult conversations recently. Like, gal signed up recently, and God bless her, she starts teaching, and she has such an ability to teach. Her followers are exploding. People are like, where can I get this? How can I get more of this? And then her art sales were some total like $500. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but the market has spoken. You are going 95% teacher, and then you can slowly build the art silo, and that's just how it goes, right? So, it's funny because this question of niche selection comes up. What's my niche, right? Like, what is my niche? Do I need to have the niche? And you'll never know until you've done enough marketing to find out. And I've seen every scenario imaginable emerge. I've seen some people that sell a smattering of everything. And what it's taught me is that art sales are 50-50. They're 50% the quality and the caliber of the art, and they're 50% who the artist is, what makes them tick, what makes them interesting, how people get bonded to them, right? And what happens after a short period of time is, once you've actually done enough marketing to get the work out there, all of your things, okay, to get the work out there, for the first time in your life, you figure out whether or not you have a niche or not. What ends up happening is this thing called Pareto's Law emerges, and it's the 80-20 rule. And if we, at the end of the year, after you've had an entire year of doing this, if 80% of your revenue is coming from 20% of the work, I'm like, I have to have a sit down with you and go, Ashley, this is your niche. Go all in on it, right? But you know what? It could also happen? 10% of your income here, 30% of your income there, 25% here, 10%. And you know what, Ashley? Keep doing you. This is you. This is your business. Let's go. Let's try to grow all of them. And anything in between can happen too. So you just don't know until you know. So the answer is all of the above, especially if they're all legal. That's okay. My position, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, so your platform does have the ability to support that kind of additional.
Digital downloads, anything you wanted. I mean, is the whole thing geared to sell wall art? Yeah, it is. But it's also just an e-commerce shopping cart like anything else. So you can throw whatever the heck you want in there all day long. Anytime, anything that you want, right?
And I do have a second question.
Please.
I am a brain injury survivor. That's why I'm disabled. So, I'm able to make art. I'm able to teach a class here and there. I'm able to do my freelancing, but it's all my time is more limited than I would like. Like if I do more than 4 hours of screen time a day, I end up with a massive headache. So it's just kind of my life.
Yeah.
But also I tend to get overwhelmed with like, here is our library of training. And like, is there this onboarding process? Is there like somebody who will be able to sit with me and be like, this is what you actually need to care about right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Worry about the rest of
you are handheld all the way through. And then one of the coolest things that we've done recently is like Zoom has this new technology called breakout rooms. And they're essentially Zoom rooms within Zoom rooms, right? And so the way that we do it, I might as well show this because we've got the doggone diagram up. Okay. This is a little inside baseball, but just bear with me on this because I like this. I like showing this because I've driven it and I'm very damn proud of it. So what happens is that this is our workshop schedule during the week. Okay. So these are all CST times. And so we have like a 2-hour block on Monday, a 2-hour block on Thursday. We have onboarding, which is just when you get signed up. Basically, every one of these sessions all week long, aside from onboarding, are Zooms, okay? And you can pop into those every day at any time, and you say, I need support, or you say, I need marketing help. They put you in the other room, and you can ask your question right then and there, have somebody hold your hand, do screen shares, walk you through it, the whole ball game, right? The whole ball game. So that's how that works, and we're finding it to be really, really helpful because look, you guys have, you're solopreneurs. You have to wear all the damn hats. You shouldn't be a web programmer. You shouldn't be a Facebook complication expert, an Instagram complication expert. You should just have the help to get it going and then get back to your superpower, which is creating the art, right? So that's how we do things.
Thank you.
Yeah. And congratulations on the settlement. I'm terribly sorry about the brain injury. Yeah. I hope you are on the mend. Yeah, Angela was telling me about her farm niche. I think the farm niche is totally cool. You just never know. You never know until you get going and you try to sell it, right? Like I love that idea because I love farm to table and I love all organic food and I love knowing who my farmers are, and I go to farmers markets every single solitary weekend. By the way, I have the coolest folding cart farmers market setup thing you ever seen in your entire life. I'm honestly so proud of it. I can't begin to tell you. I get comments every single solitary weekend. So I think that niche is awesome, Angela, but I can't tell you a niche is awesome. No one can tell you a niche is awesome. The only thing that can tell you a niche is awesome is when the almighty credit card comes out the almighty wallet and gets slid through the machine and you get paid, right? And no one can tell you how that's going to go, what that might look like until you get in there, right? Until you start doing it. So that's what I would say. Who else, guys? Questions, comments, concerns? Anything about anything? You can raise the hand at Digitally Speaking. Yep, Corey, I got you. Don't worry. Corey's up next. Okay, go ahead, Corey.
Hello, sir. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Okay, it's my first time on Zoom, but anyway, I got a lot of questions. Do you guys have any kind of like support number? Maybe I could talk to somebody about all this, how to get signed up, if my niche is good and all that.
So
I'm like totally new to all this.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So what we do is this session today is just like the meet and greet, get to know you, let me rant and set some expectations and all that type of stuff. We do a demo process, which quite frankly I really don't care for, but you fill out the form on the website, they call you back and they take you on an hour test drive through all the software, screen share, here's what the front end looks like, the back end, the plans, this is what it costs, they'll look at your art, all of those things. So that's what I would do, and then you get an hour to just chat to somebody directly. So it's helpful, and there's no pressure. You don't have to sign up afterwards. They won't email you a million times after.
Okay.
So that's what
excellent.
I do. Yeah.
Cool. Do you think custom woodworking is a good niche to try out? I mean, I've been doing that.
Corey, they're all good niches and they're all terrible niches. No one knows. No one can tell you, right? Like, I get so many people on here that are like, all these people tell me my work is amazing. Everyone tells me I should start this business. I was in a juried show. I won best in show at such and such. It's like, I don't care and you don't care. Get over all of that nonsense. You know what you do? You've got a product.
Absolutely.
You take it to market. We find out whether or not it sells. If it sells, great. If it doesn't, it's not a death knell. It just means that particular thing didn't work, and now you know. And that's a blessing, and now you can try some new things, right? So that's a very, very important thing.
Okay, excellent. Thanks for getting to the point and just getting to the point.
Yeah, I
appreciate
know.
it.
Yeah, it's nice. I don't pull any punches. You'll find. What's the point, right? Like, you guys get so preyed upon with all these bullshit Facebook ads, special formulas, and you can buy a collector list, and you can go and take my mastermind. And it's like, you guys intuitively know there's no shortcuts. Everyone intuitively knows there's no shortcuts. There never has been any shortcuts. I'm extremely upfront about how miserable it is in the beginning. And it's miserable because none of you guys have ever marketed consistently before in your entire lives. And you have to learn how to do that. And that's not exactly fun. But you know what? If you prepare for it and you're like, I'm going to make this happen and I'm going to do it, and I realize I'm going to have to learn how to do things that I've never learned how to do before, you are in a better position to fight through all the quitting points where all of your contemporaries quit. All artists, all photographers, year after year, treat their marketing like the New Year's resolution. You sign up for the gym membership in January. It's going to be my year. I'm losing that weight. You're going 4 days a week. And then March rolls around. You're discouraged. Life happened. You haven't been once. Nothing changes in your art business. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. And that's how it goes. That is the battle that we fight every single solitary day. And not just with, me telling you guys that's how it is. Like with my customers. The same thing happens with my customers all the time. All the time. You have to keep them motivated. You have to keep moving forward with everything that you've got in your arsenal. And so, that's the ball game. That's how it goes. I think most artists and photographers think that like if they just create awesome work, it's a meritocracy and that somebody is going to come and discover them and come find them. And no one is going to come discover you. No one is going to come find you. You have to do the work every single solitary day to get yourself out there. And it's funny because I was, I'm going to see if I can find it. Oh, where is it? I had it. Who is the absolute best on Instagram? Obviously, it's actors and actresses because they're, very good on video. And I was watching and it was, what is her name? She was married to Ryan Phillippe. It'll come to me in a second. I can't believe that I didn't save it. I'm sitting here looking through my tabs so I can play this for everyone. But I thought she had a Reese Witherspoon. I thought she had such a great way of saying it. And, here's a very talented actress that's had an incredible amount of success. And she's like, her mantra is just like, no one is coming to discover you or find you. It's not just going to happen. You have to go out there and create that noise, create that feedback on it. It's in one of my other browsers. Otherwise, I would play it. But anyway, what else, guys? Questions? Can be anything about anything, of course. Anything that you heard today, anything else? While you guys are contemplating if there's any finals. Yep, I got you, Corey. Let me just finish this. I will send you in the email after the fact a recording of that whole video. So if you want to go back, watch anything, you missed anything, it'll be there. Links to all the stuff that I mentioned. I've got a really good article on how to price your art. I've got a really good article on what to do to do fairs and shows if you're doing those. Plus the Meg and the Jonah interview. If you guys can come to the Betty one tomorrow, strongly recommend that you do that. And I'm gonna get everyone the link for that so you guys can just join that right now. Corey, go ahead. While you're doing that, I'm gonna go find the link.
Yeah, just one last question.
Yeah,
as far as like, if my stuff was to sell, like shipping and all that stuff, do we do that, or like how do the items go to you guys and you guys ship them? Like how does all that work?
Yeah, it's a great question. So if you're, obviously if you're selling originals, unfortunately we've not developed a magic carpet that shows up at your house, grabs it, boxes it, and ships it. You have to be responsible for that, right? Everyone does because they have the original. But for anything else that you sell on the website, we handle 100% of it. But again, do not let, worrying about shipping paralyze you for even a second. Remember one thing. Do you know what's hard to do? Sell the thing. Do you know what's not? Everything else. Everything else is easy in comparison. Trust me. So don't stress about those things, right? Like I'll like look at some of my customers that are like, yeah, I've spent 2.5 weeks worrying about international shipping and trying to find an international shipper and getting quotes about international shipping and figuring out what countries I can ship to and what countries I can't ship to. And then I ask them, have you ever gotten an international order? And they're like, well, no, but I want to be prepared if I do. And I'm like, guys, come on. Don't open the bank account until you have a check made out to your name, right? Do not worry about today's problems today. It's just selling the art, not any of the rest of the stuff, right?
Gotcha.
So, yeah, that's what I would say.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks. All right. Chris was asking, I have an Etsy shop and a Shopify store. Is that a different website to manage or is it interchangeable? You could keep those websites if you wanted to, Chris, but you would essentially number one, I should mention this. Like we realized early on in the process that you guys are not supposed to be web programmers. You're not supposed to speak GoDaddy, CSS, HTML, designing websites, maintaining websites, updating websites. So we do it for you. We do it for you, okay? Because it's just not something that you need to be wasting your time on. So we would help you get the site set up on art storefronts. And then Etsy, depending on if it's bringing you any sizable income, you can decide to keep it or not keep it. One of the bummers about Etsy, because it's such an established site and it's doing so well that inevitably if somebody Googles your name, Etsy's going to come up before your store is. Your store, you keep 100% of the income. Etsy, you don't have any idea who the buyer is. So that's problematic, right? So you kind of have to decide whether or not Etsy is doing you any favors or not. But all of that is sortable. I genuinely don't like I generally don't like marketplaces at all for the sole reason that you don't know who's purchasing your work, and that's just a death knell long term. But if you've somehow managed to make a marketplace work, which is it's less than 5% of artists that are doing anything significant, more than $10,000 a year. I defer to my revenue source comment, which is I've never met a revenue source I don't like. So keep it going, but try to not have all your eggs in the Etsy basket. Excuse me. Okay, so Chris said we're doing 150. I'm unmuting you because I want to hear about this because this is the first time someone's told me over 6 figures on Etsy. Will you unmute, Chris? I want to hear what you're selling.
Yeah, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, dude. Huge cool. Congrats, by the way. Okay, that places you literally in the top 1% of Etsy sellers. You know that, right?
Yeah. I think it said we're top 2.3%, but I mean we're doing a significant amount on that, so we clearly want to keep that, but again, different revenue streams that we need, and so we're looking at is this, and like I said, is this another stupid website or marketplace that I have to upkeep and learn how to do and all that stuff, because I don't want that, but we want different revenue streams, so
100%.
That's a concern for us. But yeah, we started on Etsy. We opened our Etsy shop in June or May of June in 2020, and now it's our full-time job now. So last year we did almost 250 grand on Etsy sales wise.
Amazing. Was the COVID bump hugely helpful?
Massively. Well, I mean that's what started us, right? And we hit our peak. We did 300 grand, I think, in 2021. So we're on a downward slide, but I think that's, the economy. There's a lot of things to that, but it's clearly 70-80% of our revenue right now, and but we're scared that at any time that could be pulled out from under us, right?
And let me tell you, I'm so glad that you said that, because you 100% should be, and it 100% will be. That's what the math say, right? So.
Exactly.
Yeah, you are absolutely on the right track. The biggest death knell of it. I mean, is it? Can you tell me what the product is? Is it home decor? Is it art? What is it?
We make wood wall art, laser cut wood wall art. Yeah.
Awesome. I might even have looked at it. Yeah. So the biggest thing for me is like, you now have a business on your hands, right? And you're fired up about this, and you're going to do this full time. Like, have the long-term perspective of understanding. If you don't know who your customers are, you don't have anyone to market to. And if Etsy decides to shut you off, you have nothing. Your revenue source is dried up, right? And that should terrify you, rightfully so. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So you got to start generating those sales on outside of Shopify, right? And that means regular and consistent marketing, but you're bringing in enough cash to invest in that so you can start doing some of that marketing and then start working on diversifying the product line more. But I love that you're doing that well, and absolutely do not stop, of course, on Etsy until it kicks you, right? And you'll never know. It could be 10 years from now. But you just you need to know who's collecting your stuff, because the rules of business are just the rules of business. Easiest customer to get, the one that you've already had. The wood wall art will have collectors. Some of these people will come back and buy from you 10, 15, 20 times. If you don't know who they are, Etsy keeps that, right? And that's the problem.
Right.
Yeah. So just to answer your other question, we handle all the website maintenance. We do that. That's our deal.
Okay.
You don't do it.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. And that's super, super rare, right? And I reserved my statement that, what's different about Etsy is like, he's doing wood wall art, right? Which is not what most of you guys are doing, which has more of probably a home decor bent, my guess is, than most people, and is unique. So that's a great Etsy product. All right, Jason, go again. But huge congrats on that, Chris. That's awesome. I love hearing about stories like that.
Okay, so actually, this next question I have is something toward that guy that was just talking now, to Chris. Congratulations to him. That's amazing. But if you had something on Etsy that was doing really well, did they have no way for you to directly get the customer's email? Because I totally believe in what you're saying about getting email.
No, they don't. They don't let you.
They have no way to do that.
Yeah,
wow.
They don't let you have it. And you're not. I think that's all of the marketplaces operate that way, and that's how it's supposed to be, right? That's why all the art galleries don't tell you either. And for me, like, you have in your head like, this is really, really smart, right? Where it hit home for me was when COVID happened, And I started running these things right when COVID happened. And I'm telling you, within like, because everyone was at home, you know, if the attendance on this is 21 people right now, in COVID, it was like 150 Monday, Wednesday, Friday, maybe even 200, just extraordinary times, right? And some of these artists would be insanely talented, okay? They were doing $300,000 to $500,000 a year in a gallery, right? And they had expectations about that income, and then all of a sudden, boom, the water shut off, and there's not a damn thing that they can do. And some of them, like the galleries were closed, they couldn't even go in and get their work. Like, in the sheer terror on these people's face was like palpable to me, right? Like, I internalized it, and I'm like, you can never have all your eggs in one damn basket, because the gallery model, and then also to a certain extent what Chris is doing, I use the analogy, you're essentially a tenant farmer, right? You're only as good as your last at bat, because if it gets shut off, you're left with nothing. And I look at some of these people that would come on, and it's like, oh my God, if I could have just got my hooks into you early, and even if you would have 20% of your work would have been building your own audience, when COVID hit, you would have had a boom, because art sales went through the roof because we were all locked at home. And the ones that had audiences that they could market to, their numbers doubled. And here's this other artist that's making $500,000 in a gallery, and he can't do a damn thing because he's got no email list, no Facebook following, no Instagram following, right? Like, that is an untenable situation. That cannot be allowed to exist. That is on you if that happens, right? And so I scream from the mountaintops to make sure that that doesn't happen. And look, it's pressure over time. We're all going to blink, and we're going to be 10 years older. If you did the right thing, you've got an audience going.
So the other question I had was, so just so I'm on the right page with this, you guys do teach, because we were talking about Instagram earlier.
Yeah.
You do teach the strategies.
Oh, all day.
To get the clients, to get the traffic.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All year long.
That's
Never
awesome.
ending. Yeah.
And then you also teach the strategies to get your email lists too as well.
100% online and offline. I've got some really, really good hacks and techniques and tricks. And like, I mean, dude, we are kitchensink.com on email capture. Online, offline, QR codes, print giveaways, like you name it. Like we teach you to do all of it and do all of it all the time.
You know, because at one point I did start pushing towards email lists, but I found it so hard because trying to come up with the right funnel to get people to sign up on emails was just driving me nuts. And I even outsourced to try to get people.
How many followers? What's your biggest platform? Is it Facebook or is it Instagram?
I hate to say it, but it's Facebook right now. I know Instagram needs to be better, and that's where I'm starting to work.
How many do you have on Facebook?
Facebook, I've got at least 2,000 or 3,000 between three different platforms, about 2,000 or 3,000.
This afternoon, I want you to grab your phone, grab one of your prints off the wall that you can reproduce, and go, guys. Go live on Facebook. Okay, you can do it right through the app. It's free. It's easy. You can just dead stick your phone and go, guys, I'm having a great day, and so I am going to do a print giveaway. I'm giving away such and such size of such and such print, which is on metal, normally retails for such and such. How do you get it? All you have to do is go to my Facebook page, send me a message with your email address. I'm going to announce the winner on Friday, and good luck. And then turn it off. And then post it everywhere else too. And then see how many emails you capture. And let's say that you capture 150 emails, right? So, okay. On Friday, you get all those emails into your email service provider. And because you know everyone wants to know whether or not they're going to win, the winner is announced via email. You send an email to those guys. The winner is such and such. Congratulations, such and such. For the rest of you, I never win anything easier. I never win anything either. As a way of saying thanks for entering, take 15% off store-wide. Coupon expires Sunday. Thank you so much. I'm going to do more of these in the future. So that is what I call the loop, and it works in just about any context imaginable. And so here is an incentive for you to give me your email address. You can win something. Sorry you didn't win something into a sale that has discount and scarcity, right? And what people don't understand is that this print, this size shipped to the customer is like $35, like $40, right? So do you know what that $40 is? That $40 is, instead of boosting a post and giving the money to Facebook, which has enough, I assure you, you're just spending that money on the cost of you to ship the print. Okay? So you instead of running Facebook or Instagram ads, that is what you should be doing. And it works in any capacity imaginable. It works in the real world. It works at a show and a fair. You know, it's as old as time. Put your business card in the fishbowl to win a free Subway sandwich, right? Like we're having a drawing. It just works. It works.
Yeah.
So we do all kinds of things like that.
Now that strategy, I use that strategy exactly, but not in the way that you asked me to use it on the Facebook platform. I was dragging people from Facebook into funneling people into. I had a fan club, and people paid me $10, $15, $20 a month for the fan club. And on the fan club, I would do giveaways, print giveaways to keep them, because
engaged.
It would engage them, right? And that was working for a time until COVID and some other things hit, and then I started seeing people get off the fan club.
Yeah.
But I do believe that if I did it directly on Facebook, I'd probably get a better result. So that actually is helpful.
Yep.
So thank you.
And you should do it everywhere. And that's what omni-channel marketing is, right? You email your existing list, you let them know because you want them switched on asking you questions. You post it on Instagram, you post it on Facebook, you do it a couple of different times. Things ending tomorrow, enter to win, and do it often, right? It's just marketing, it's just advertising. Every business in the world has to advertise. You guys are not any different. It's just how you approach it and how you contemplate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Jason. I threw the Zoom link, you guys, into the chat. I'm doing it again. All you have to do is click that to join this thing tomorrow. Again, it's going to be, I'm in Pacific Standard Time, so 1 Pacific, 3 Eastern, 3 Central, 4 Eastern. It'll go 2 hours. It's going to be awesome, and you guys can ask questions of Betty directly. I'll interview her for an hour, get all the rad details out of her. I've known her for a little while, so it should be super fun. And then we're going to open it up to Q&A. So that's literally tomorrow, and there'll be hundreds and hundreds of people in there. It'll be totally cool. So love to have you guys. I will try and stream it. So, if you can only catch it on YouTube or Facebook, that's a way to do it. But in addition to that, as long as you register, on that stupid Zoom registration page, it's just, how you can do the Q&A. Zoom's just the easiest. I don't care how they do it, but whatever. If you register on that Zoom thing and you can't make it because you registered, I'll know to send you a replay of it. So that's what I'll say. And no, Michelle, I won't. It's just click that link right there and you can register for it right now. So when I click that thing, it should send me to a registration page. Yeah. Meet Betty Franks, abstract artist, teacher, 6-figure business owner. So all you have to do is put your name in there, and then Zoom will send you all the, webinar starts in 20 minutes, all that. It should be really, really cool. A great session. And you can learn from all of these ones. Like, that's the thing that infuriates me about all the master classes and the Facebook ads, this and that, and all the rest of that nonsense. It's like, no, why don't you learn from someone that is actually doing it right now in a digital capacity, right? Like, that's how it should go. So that's what I would say. And Dinah, I'm not sure if we have any potters as clients. I know we have some sculptors for sure, but I'm not 100% sure on potters. But I do like pottery. I do like my my urban jungalo, my indoor plant game, which I take very seriously. But you guys, thanks for hanging out. Great session. Hope you guys learned something. Replays are coming soon. Thanks for spending some time with me on a Wednesday. Hope you all have wonderful weeks. Giddy up. Q4 is coming. Now's the time, guys. Now's the time. Hope to see you guys tomorrow or in a future session.